a.m. Fridays and Saturdays.
It's not up in your face.
The New Testament Church of God invite the community to their 6th annual convention from Wednesday, June 28th till Sunday, July 2nd, nightly starting from 6 p.m. This year's theme is Pressing to the End with Christ. Speakers include Dr. Timothy Hill, Bishop Ishmael Charles, Bishop Clayton Martin, and Bishop Ruel Robinson. The New Testament Church of God 6th Annual Convention from Wednesday, June 28th till Sunday, July 2nd, nightly starting from 6 p.m.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the Steps 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Monday, the 26th day of June, 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. Those of you who are traveling on the Linford-Pearson Highway, and when you reach the extreme western part, you will see that one portion of the road has now been paved. That portion that was being prepared has been paved, not only paved, but all of the stripes have been put in, the lanes, lane designations are all there, including a bike lane as well. That was done over a period of time between Saturday and Sunday. Want to give kudos to the staff of the National Roads Authority and, of course, the minister as well for the great job that they have done there. Some of you may say, well, it took a while. Well, took a lot of coordination as well because they had to put in a certain amount of infrastructure there as well. And as a result of that, they had to rely on other entities. But again, great job. Look forward to the other lanes now being in place, and then road users to ensure that they use the roads carefully and not endanger the life and safety of others as well. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. We see that Roland Talanow, Tina Murray, and then yesterday we had Daniel Ramut and Sandra Tibbetts, who celebrated birthdays yesterday as well. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Want to extend sincere condolences to the Miss Heather Borden and her family on the loss of their mother, Miss Mary, as well. So we want to extend condolences to her and her family. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson Building. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open this morning. Again, it is the radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. You can also call us on that number. Can only accommodate one caller at a time on that number. You can follow us on YouTube. You do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We are also on Facebook as well. What else can we share with you this morning? We will have guests in the studio later on this morning. Look forward to representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services, as well as representatives from Hazard Management Cayman, who will be in the studio. We will continue our series on celebrating our older persons, but also providing useful information, tips to them, as well as family members in terms of care. And of course, with this being hurricane season now in effect, we want to talk about hurricane preparedness and what we should be doing for our elderly folks, those who require assistance and those who don't require assistance, any additional advice that we can pass on to them as well. Also, want to remind you, I'm not sure how many of you recognized that yesterday was also the Day of the Seafarer 2023. Yesterday was celebrated as that. You would have heard the president of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association on Sterling Drain's show talking about it as well. So this year it was celebrated on yesterday, the 25th of June. And for this year, the international organization the campaign will look at seafarers' contribution to protecting the marine environment in line with the World Maritime Theme. MARPOL at 50, our commitment goes on. Seafarers spend a great deal of time at sea and are a big part of the solution when it comes to protecting the marine environment. I'm going to come back to that. As part of the campaign, they will be asking seafarers to share a picture of the marine environment surrounding them while at sea, highlighting that the marine environment is worth protecting as well. And I would venture to say that in the earlier days, in the 50s, in the 60s, I guess in the 40s as well, if we were more environmentally conscious, when things like pumping, bilge, demucking the tanks from the oil tankers and dumping that untreated into the into our oceans, had we been more careful and more informed about the effects of that, we probably would be in a better place today as far as our environment is concerned as well. But let's go back to this part, talking about the fact that seafarers spend a great deal of time at sea, and they are a big part of the solution when it comes to protecting the marine environment. Those words are really, they sound great. They sound inspirational. But when we look at right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands, how many times have we listened to the advice of the Captain Paul Hurlstons, the Mr. Jackson, Cam Jackson? We have failed to listen to them as well as others. Look at what has happened to our beaches as a result of us people not listening, and the government not being forceful enough and ensuring that proper legislation is in place. And when I say governments, I'm not talking about this present government, but past governments as well, to ensure that corrective action was taken as early as possible to protect our marine environment, to protect our beaches. So we never listened to those people. And we're fortunate that some of them are still alive, and we still have an opportunity to benefit from their sage advice as well. While I'm at it, I also would like to extend sincere condolences to Captain Paul Hurlston and his family, as well. So I'd like to extend sincere condolences on behalf of staff here at Radio Cayman as well. So yesterday was the Day of the Seafarer, celebrated on yesterday, the 25th of June. And of course, we will hear more about what will take place here in the Cayman Islands, as far as celebration is concerned as well. They also talk about the fact that seafarers see the seas on their voyages, and this provides many opportunities for them to take pictures of the marine environment as well. And we know that seamen took many pictures. Some of them probably unfortunately lost them during Hurricane Ivan. We know that Hensdale and Marfield, Shillette, also known as Lil One and Biggie, they took photographs as well. As a matter of fact, in one of the old Tradewinds newspapers, there's a photograph of Caymanians and I think maybe some guys from other Caribbean islands as well on the deck of some of their vessels that they sailed on. And then can't forget this as well. On Saturday, this past Saturday, had a nice discussion at the home of Mr. Bernard Watler, talking about various things about the Cayman Islands. And of course, he and Dr. Steve Macfield, being the most senior amongst us there, talking about the seafaring days as well, giving us some stories about the seafaring days, talking about the various ships. One of the ships that was mentioned there was the Sprucewood, talking about that as well. That was enjoyable, something arranged by Lord Graham, and certainly didn't want to miss that, and I was happy that it wasn't missed, and we have to continue to do more and more of that. That is one way to keep our Caymanian culture alive. We need to continue to tap in to the knowledge and the memories of our older Caymanians. We need to ensure that it is properly recorded as well. Otherwise, those experiences will become lost, like all of the other things that we are starting to lose right here in our beautiful Cayman Islands. Folks, time for us to take a commercial break. I want to remind you, our phone lines are open at this point in time. We don't have any guests in the studio yet. If you want to call in, you can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990, or you can email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky, or you can WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Alfred Biddle Bawden, JP. Alfred Bawden was affectionately known as AB. He worked as a seaman for some years and sent money home to support his family. Upon returning from sea, he started his own business, a general store. He was also a farmer and butcher, cultivating various crops to provide for his family and help the poor, while also creating jobs for members of his community. He was elected vestryman for the District of Bordentown in 1948 and served 2 terms in the Assembly. He was one of the first merchants in Bordentown and the first in the island to obtain a liquor license. He traveled to Jamaica to sign the trade agreement to export thatch rope. A member of the Bordentown Church of God Chapel, he gave financial support to the churches of the district as well as to the less fortunate.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words bookstore in the Thompson Building. Supplies local books, gifts, trinkets, keepsakes, wall plaques, and journals. the hub for local authors. More Than Words. So much more. More Than Words is now open. Shop number 4, second floor Thompson Building, or call 936-5544.
Have you been chosen to participate in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey? Remember, if you have been chosen to participate, we cannot replace you with someone else. The survey is random and limited to 3,300 individuals across all 3 islands. Your participation is essential to the success of this important endeavor and will help shape Cayman's health services for years to come. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have a caller, but before we go to the caller, we have a few birthday greetings here that we want to announce as well. So birthday greetings going out to Miss Clincy, who will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow. God willing, let her know how much she is loved and appreciated. May God continue to bless her from her loving sisters, Rosita and Cleo. And they want to thank Radio Cayman for providing this opportunity for Caymanians to wish their loved ones birthday greetings as well. So Miss Clincy, and of course we heard from her, last week as well. So Miss Clincy, she's celebrating her birthday tomorrow, and birthday greetings coming from your sister, Rosita and Cleo as well. Okay, I still have some more as well. We have another one. We have a happy birthday to Trudy from husband Roy and sister Jewel. So Trudy, happy birthday to you today as well. And one more here. Happy birthday to Joyce Forbes. And this is a belated happy birthday to Joyce Forbes. Her birthday was yesterday as well. And Caribbean Boy TV says, good morning, OC. Big shout out to all my family and friends in the Cayman Islands as well. We have about 7 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news, so let's go to the phone lines for our first caller for the morning. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Okay, we lost that caller. Well, I have this one I want to share with you. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. Miss Lucille has written and said, remember the women who steered the ship Cayman. Says, I remember the women who steered the ship of Cayman, recollecting those women of steel, particularly during the Southwell years. They negotiated for the purchasing of land, the building of houses, the banking business, and any commercial business left to attend. You could work in the civil service. Many opened preschools and taught. Yeah. They and their youngsters left behind who didn't have the age, who weren't old enough to traverse the seas. Perhaps one day we should put ourselves in their shoes to imagine in a vicarious way what they experience. Miss Lucy says, I say this today as repeatedly and advertently or inadvertently, women are omitted from the history of the shaping of this economic miracle called the Cayman Islands. Numerous times, many a young man went to sea and stayed away for years, living the life on a ship to shore, accumulating experience of love. The sage boy never cast his mind back to these shores until compulsory orders led him back with nothing. Nevertheless, some remained on the seas for years, gathering knowledge and experience to return home and be somebody. Their marks of success remain today, but truth be told, I was part of that experience. It was the women with God-given common sense who held us together. They shaped their children and said, you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps if you want to succeed. What you learn, you have to retain. You have to be solid and enterprising if you want to help your children, and they did. Today, the women of yesteryear can be traced back to being the pillars and the shoulders who held Cayman up. One day before I die, I want to see erected in every town hall, civic center, and Constitution Hall an edifice honoring and glorifying the women of steel. I can say, if we do that honor and believe in that honor and tout that honor, there will be many life changes in Cayman. Yes, it can be reached alongside the women who signed the petition to liberate women politically. Owning your history without bias and action, your past with equal importance, makes a hell of a distinction to your society. And we want to thank Miss Lucille for that as well. And share a little bit more about our seafarers. So on the 20th of June, 1966, the Trade Winds newspaper, their reporter, and this was a Mr. McLaughlin from East End, in the East End portion of it, talked about arriving from Nicaragua was Mr. Ashley Tatum. After spending a few years in that republic, he brought with him his little daughter, Cheryl. Arriving from National Bulk Carriers was Mr. Frank Connolly, of blessed memory. Mr. Connolly just passed away recently. Of Sand Bluff, Stanchel Jervis and Terence Pearson, all on vacation at home. And then it speaks to the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Etchard McLaughlin, happy to announce that their daughter, Miss Delmina McLaughlin, celebrated her 18th birthday on Friday, the 24th of June, 1966. Let's see what happened in West Bay as far as seamen were concerned. So they reported there in West Bay that Sharon Farrington is home from her family from school holidays. Looking for the seaman. Mr. Sterling Borden returned to Miami on the 23rd. Miss Blanche Parsons and her grandfather, Captain Ali Ebanks, expects to leave today for a fortnight in Miami. Mr. Lee Smith left for Tampa on the 28th to reship. On the way from St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, to Houston, Texas, the Inagua Gulf called by Cayman for a few hours to land her second mate, Jefford Osbert Ebanks, who is ailing. Captain Vincent Garvin, chief mate, Sammy Parchment, Mr. Robert Smith, and others of the crew were happy to get ashore and visit relatives in West Bay. Mr. Austin Piercy of Georgetown is an engineer on the ship as well. And pass this one on as well. Mr. James Ryan, not about going to sea, but he says, Mr. James Ryan, a teacher on the staff of the West Bay School, has recently been awarded a course in vocational training by the U.S. government. Mr. Ryan left on the 11th of June to begin his studies at the University of Wisconsin. Whoa, that's going a long way from the Cayman Islands. Wisconsin can be extremely cold in the winter. Of course, he was going there in June, so it wouldn't have been too bad as well. But folks, I was happy to share some of that information, historical information with you, coming from the Tradewinds newspaper. And of course, I have to give Miss Joellen Thompson credit for that, because she has provided me with copies of those newspapers. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
At Radio Cayman, time check just about 5 seconds away from 8 o'clock. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Well, Doc, I'm getting old. I'm out of shape, always on edge and off balance.
And how does it make you feel?
I guess it makes me feel like I should live better.
Here's my suggestion.
Are you saying I'm a blank piece of paper?
Turn it over.
Live well? Is this code?
No. Live Well from Foster's and CG BritK. A great resource on staying healthy, decluttering your mind, and managing stress.
Really? And it's free?
Really. LiveWell.Fosters.ky won't cost you a cent. This session, however, live well with Foster's and CG BritK.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Police bust up an attempted robbery. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says shortly before 1 a.m. on Sunday, officers on patrol on North Church Street near Kirk Market saw what looked to be a fight between three men on the roadside. As officers approached, one of the men assaulted another and then took off on a bicycle. Officers then spoke to the two other men, who told police they'd been at the location when the third man approached and attempted to mug them. However, they resisted and there was a struggle. The third man did not appear to be carrying any weapons. However, one of the men did receive minor injuries during the assault. MPs discussed Cabinet's decision to approve an additional $2.3 million in funding for land purchases in the 2022 budget. Acting Chief Officer in the Ministry of District Administration, Wilbur Welcome, told lawmakers the money covers the purchase of 6 parcels of land, 1 beach parcel, 2 parcels of land to increase the size of Central Park, as well as 3 pieces of land for future expansion of the Northside Primary School. Red Bay MP Sir Alden McLaughlin had questions about the Central Park expansion.
I wonder if through the minister, if the chief officer could indicate if there are other parcels that are being pursued.
Mr. Chair, through you, yes, I can confirm that there are other parcels being pursued and some that have closed or are near closing.
And how are they going to be paid for?
So some of those would be covered in 2023 supplementaries.
Additional supplementaries, additional to this?
Yes, as these are 2022 supplementaries.
The total budget for land purchases for ownership by the Crown in 2022 ended up at just over $4.5 million, which included $2.3 million in supplemental appropriations approved by Cabinet and a more than $1.2 million transfer of funds from the 2023 to the 2022 budget. And fishermen are being reminded that if you hook a shark, release it safely after the remains of a young nurse shark are discovered off the coast. Radio Cayman's Paula Cow reports.
The Department of Environment says a young nurse shark was recently found dead by Don Foster's divers at the Royal Palms Ledges Dive site. It's between 2 and 3 feet in length and had a large cut on the tail, along with puncture wounds in the gills and stomach. It is most likely it died from those injuries. With shark popping season in full swing, the unit says this is a good reminder to be careful when fishing, particularly in the mangrove areas where young sharks can be seen cruising in the shallows. The DOE says if you accidentally hook a shark when fishing, release it safely. Circle hooks are easier to remove without hurting the shark or other fish, or you can cut the line as close to the hook as possible. A steel hook will rust out if a shark or fish breaks the line. Sharks are fully protected, so it is illegal to harm, kill, or possess a shark, whole or in part, anywhere in the Cayman Islands. To report a concern about illegal or suspicious activity, call DOE Enforcement at 916-4271 or call 911 for crimes in progress. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Paula Cal.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Justine Green. President Putin and his government are projecting an impression of business as usual after Saturday's attempted mutiny by Wagner mercenary forces. The Kremlin has posted a video address by Mr. Putin and footage of the defence minister at a military command post. It's not clear when either were filmed. State media in Russia says the man behind the mutiny, Yevgeny Prigozhin, remains under investigation by the Federal Security Service. That's despite an announcement that all charges against him would be dropped. Germany has offered to deploy 4,000 soldiers in Lithuania to strengthen NATO's eastern border. Lithuania had asked NATO to increase its military presence after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. A far-right Israeli government minister has apologised after comparing the heads of the army, police and intelligence services to Russia's Wagner group. The minister, Orrett Connor, condemned them for criticising recent Israeli settler attacks against Palestinians in the West Bank. The Pakistani army says 3 senior officers have been sacked for failing to avert violence last month after the arrest of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The army has described the arrest as a conspiracy against the country. Police in India say 11 people have been arrested over the killing of a Muslim man suspected of transporting beef. Many Hindus consider cows sacred, and vigilante groups have carried out a number of such attacks in recent years. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com. And for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt@valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Drinking water is critical after a storm. Your emergency kit should have a 5-day supply of water. That's 1 gallon of water per person per day. Store additional water for those with special needs, such as nursing mothers, young children, or people with illnesses. Keep drinking water in clean, non-corrosive, tightly covered containers. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. It's nice and sunny there outside with some partial cloud cover. Present temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 97 right now. Winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Relative humidity 76%. Last night's low temperature was at 82, and the barometric pressure is at 29.91 inches and falling. A slack pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean will support light winds and slight to moderate seas across the Cayman area over the next few days. A tropical wave moving over the northwest Caribbean may support isolated showers across our area today. And the National Hurricane Center has discontinued the issuance of advisories on Cindy as of last night as the storm has degenerated. Our forecast for today calls for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index of 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate, wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Then looking at later on this evening, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s and winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. We are presently in a high tide. Low tide is coming up at 10:16 this morning. It's going to be high again at 5:31 this afternoon and low at 11:04 late tonight. Sunset is at 7:06. And the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Wednesday evening. That, my friends, is your latest weather provided to you courtesy of our friends at CG Britcay.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success. When setting goals, have a deadline for each step. Procrastination has a way of derailing effort. Setting a time to review progress helps to increase motivation because you know effort has contributed to small successes. Consider rewards if things are going well. If things are not going as well as you would like, a deadline gives you a chance to pause and reflect on the current goal to see if there may be something getting in the way of being able to get it done. Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming.
Just know you are not alone. On-Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On-Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, once again, good morning to you, my friends. Let's take a look at the traffic situation and wherever you are in Grand Cayman. Of course, Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, light traffic this time in the morning. But of course, here in Grand Cayman, the east-west arterial traffic is moving along so far so good. And of course, getting to the Century 21 roundabout just outside Hurley's there, you'll run into some traffic as you continue on either through South Sound and of course heading up Walker's Road. You will run into some traffic similar to South Church Street into Seafarers Way, North Church Street and West Bay Road. We now have 2 cruise ships in port, so look out for lots of our visitors ashore. We'll be walking around the Georgetown area. Of course, heading along the Linford Pearson Highway, yes, you will have run into some traffic as well, similar along Crew Road, those going through Agnes Way, and of course the newly opened portion of the Linford Pearson Highway. I'm sure some of you all are enjoying that, heading on to that new section, but of course still dealing with traffic and turning on to Bobby Thompson Way. Yes, running into some traffic there as well. With traffic meeting from the Crew Road as well as you get to the traffic light. Of course, Halda Avenue also experiencing traffic, and of course will slowly dissolve as you head into whatever street direction you're heading into. And of course, looking at the Butterfield roundabout, usual busy traffic at that time of the morning. Traffic dissipates, of course, as the morning progresses, and we'll have another traffic report for you coming up just after the 12 o'clock news. Your traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies.
Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to have our guest in the studio at 8:30. We will have lots to talk about as well. Meanwhile, our phone lines are open. If you want to call in, if you have something that you want to talk about, toll-free number 1-800-534-8255, or you can call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Meanwhile, until we get a phone call or something, a few weeks ago, you would have heard me talk about the fact that about Cayman Islands and the Financial Action Task Force and Cayman trying to get off the grey list. So we do have a media release from the Ministry of Financial Services and Commerce. This was issued on the 23rd of June. And you would have heard it on the news this morning, but I think I will share it with you as well. I can probably give you a little bit more detail because I may have a little bit more time than we would have had in the news. So it says here, having now fully satisfied the action plan given by the Financial Action Task Force, the Cayman Islands is eligible to be removed from the list of countries. The Financial Action Task Force is monitoring for deficiencies in their anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism regime, subject to successful completion of an online visit by the Financial Action Task Force. Says the Financial Action Task Force announced its decision on Friday, the 23rd of June, following its plenary session. The Attorney General, the Honorable Samuel Bulgin, KC, the Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, the Honorable Andre Ebanks, and the head of the Anti-Money Laundering Unit, Mr. Francis Arana, attended the plenary to represent the Cayman Islands and discuss progress made on the last of the 3 recommended actions in the Financial Action Task Force Action Plan. As a standard requirement, the delisting process involves an on-site Financial Action Task Force visit, tentatively scheduled for late August or early September. It says during the online visit, the Financial Action Task Force assessors will visit the Cayman Islands to meet in person with local stakeholders to assess the operation of our action plan in practice and also its sustainability. I'm told we have a caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Morning, okay.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. Speaking about the referendum about the gambling and the marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can solve the referendum about the gambling easy. Just ask the club how much tickets they have sold for the last 5 years for the Benzorama. So that should tell you how much gambling is allowed in Grand Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
Because thousands, you know what I'm saying, thousands of people are buying the money, the ticket to win that car, right? Thousands. All walks of life. So, you know Cayman more gambling. And the ganja, just put it online survey. Who want it? Yes, no. We're not going to spend no millions of dollars. So, that's done now. But also, I was listening about the banks with the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest joke that I got was the bank said, I think I give you 30 days So 30 days you can pay off a 20-year mortgage, and 30 days before the rate go up. That's a joke. Now, OC, we are spending millions of dollars a year to keep the financial industry going, right? Clear our name, which will never happen. They will always move the goalpost.
Yes.
But the banks are charging $5 for the poor man to cash a check. But now listen to this word, OC, courage, the word courage. Why can't we, our elected members, have the courage to go and sit down and say, listen, Bo Miller suggested this 30 years ago. We are taking a half of a percentage or a quarter% or 1% of all the money that transactions through here. And trust me, every Caymanian could borrow money to build a house just for the people. We would have billions of dollars in a surplus. Any child that wants to go to college, the money's there. All the elders there, we care. It could finance, because it could finance all the cement money. Why it is that no man, not one, had the courage to do that, and it can be done. And let me tell you, friend, don't think that the big financial institutions are pulling out of the Cayman Islands. That is a lie. They are going nowhere for that defeat. They are here laughing themselves to death when the CEOs get their $5 million bonus every year. And you know what we doing in Cayman? Some of them feel so guilty that they donate a little $50,000 to charity to feed the little poor black food Caymanians. You know, something is wrong. Why don't we have the courage? All it takes is courage. And I spoke over the radio, I spoke to Mr. Rod McTaggart about it. He said, well, you know, it would be, no, he's a financial wizard. No, I ain't no financial wizard. But it would be so hard to implement. Oh, see, tell me something. If we, the Cayman Islands, could seize $7.2 billion 3 months after the war started in Ukraine, we can't take a calculator and say 0.5% off of this is coming out, and this going in the coffers for the Cayman Island government. I mean, tell me something. In 90 years of this state and them way, everything with pen and paper, you know. If they flick of a switch, boom, you're moving 5 million through, we get 1% of it. That's what I mean. But it takes the courage. You see what happens? When the big bankers take them on the little dinners out with the family and clicking with them, oh, the only time they worry about my little people they call us, the little man. You know why they're looking for the little man? Because the little man got a big ass, but he's too stupid to realize what he have. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, can leverage what he has. Yes.
Yeah. But it's a sad story, but I watch it go on every day, and people like me, they're not some would like to see me there, but some would say, oh, Lord, what we going to do with Elvis McKeever? Huh? What we going to do with our wildflower?
You have some good ideas.
Yes, I have a brain and I have a vision. The only thing our thing is lacking now, just one member to get up to the camp. I'm a ganja man. I come with my plan. So see, you have a nice day, my brother.
Thank you very much for that, Elvis. And let's go and talk a little bit more about the interest rates and the mortgages. And of course, we heard the Premier speak about the fact that he had met with the bankers here in the Cayman Islands, and he was not able to get the type of commitment that he wanted from them. Eventually, it turned out that they would give a 30-day notice before any rate increases were implemented. Now, here in the UK, we see the same thing happening. As a matter of fact, was it last week, they raised interest rates, the Bank of England, by 50 basis points. Some were hoping that it would only be 25, but they went to 50. But here's what, and people are being really squeezed over there, but here's what some of the banks have done. And this is coming from London on Friday. British banks agreed on Friday to give homeowners who miss mortgage payments a year of grace before foreclosing, and to protect credit scores of borrowers who changed loan terms as the government sought to ease the strain of rising interest rates. Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt summoned representatives of British banks and other lenders a day after the Bank of England raised interest rates by 50 basis points to fight high inflation. It goes on to say, these measures should offer comfort to those who are anxious about high interest rates and support for those who do get into difficulty. And that's Jeremy Hunt is quoted as saying that. Says the new measures also allow borrowers to potentially change the terms of a mortgage. For example, to pay interest only, or to extend the repayment period for up to 6 months without the lender undertaking fresh credit checks, in a move that could pose risks for banks in the longer run. Such measures could be difficult to implement in practice, sources at the Finance Ministry and British Bank said. Some of the measures announced by the government on Friday appeared to replicate policies banks have already said they have in place. Finance Ministry statements say that the newly agreed mortgage charter with banks requires that they provide information to customers whose rates are near to ending and offer tailored support to people struggling with repayments. Big banks have told customers and lawmakers repeatedly in recent months that such support exists and urge customers under stress to contact them early. I'm going to end there because we say the same thing here. Contact your local banks. But we also know publicly that the only concession that it appears that our government was able to extract from banks here in the Cayman Islands was that they would give you 30 days notice before the interest rates were raised. No talk about adjusting your mortgage, adjusting the type of mortgage that you have, the possibility of paying interest, paying on your loans on interest only and not on the principal. Whether or not those financial institutions have that in place for particular customers, and each individual has to go in there and negotiate that, we don't know. But again, some of the big question that people are asking is, have our politicians done enough as far as the financial institutions are concerned to ease the pressures that borrowers are having in the Cayman Islands? Folks, with that, we're going to take a commercial break. For the record, we'll return shortly. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. No, can't stop me when I taste the classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual-specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Why replace when you can respray? At Granite Express Cayman, we can completely transform your old kitchen cabinets with a fresh kitchen respray for just a fraction of the cost of buying new ones. Big news! Our summer special promo is here. We are offering kitchen countertop specials up to 50 square feet installed for only $1,595 CI for granite and $1,895 for quartz. We can make your dream kitchen come true and at a price to suit all budgets. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate, friendly service, fast installation. Hurry! Limited time only while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In our effort to continue to celebrate our elderly and to keep them informed, we continue our series today celebrating our elders. One of the themes during this whole process is preparation is key, being prepared, and here to discuss some of the ways for us to be prepared, especially as far as advanced care planning is concerned. And we also wanted to talk about hurricane preparedness with a special focus on our seniors this morning. Hopefully we will get to that as well. But it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me from the Department of Children and Family Services, Miss Cassandra Farron, who is no stranger to Radio Cayman, no stranger to For the Record as well. Miss Farron, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me and having DCFS here. I'm happy to represent the Elderly Services team at Department of Children and Family Services and to be a part of the monthly program for seniors, and especially to talk about the topic that we're talking about today, which is preparedness and specifically advanced care planning, which is a topic that we've been talking about quite a bit coming from Department of Children and Family Services. We believe this topic is very important to be able to share with older persons because it helps them to be able to age in the way they want to age and then also to receive the care that they want to receive when they can no longer care for themselves or make decisions for themselves. So it's a very important topic to us, and it's an important topic to the elderly services team, because in our work with older persons, and the work that we do, elderly services, is respond to abuse reports and reports of neglect of older persons. So within our work, we have seen that there are a number of reports that we believe could have been prevented had there been an advanced care plan in place. And so we take it very seriously then that it's part of our work as well to be on the preventative side and be able to address such social issues and provide some public education on the topic. So we've been talking about it for quite some time. We also partner with Jasmine, our partner agency, Cayman Hospice Care, and we've been doing some presentations in the community. We started last year doing some presentations in the community, and we're planning to continue it into this year as well. So this will be a part of it. I'm hoping that I have my colleague, Miss Felicia McLean, joining us later because she presents on a very important part of advanced care planning, which is from the Healthcare Decisions Act of 2019, the Advanced Healthcare Directives Form, which is a legal document that can be prepared with the older person or any person in general. And it's a legal document you can prepare with your proxy and your doctor. So that's an important part of advanced care planning. But what we're seeing as well through Department of Children and Family Services and the social work team is that some of the reports that we get and we see, perhaps if there was an advanced care plan in place, it could have helped to alleviate any unnecessary suffering on part of the older person and perhaps their family caregivers. It could improve their quality of life. We feel it also preparing or doing an advanced care plan helps the family as well prepare better for their future and understand perhaps some of the decisions that may come up, and so some of the challenges of the decision making for the older person. So it's all about preparedness.
And this gives, this advanced care planning gives the older person, while they still have control over their mental faculties and everything else, to make informed decisions that if they were to wait for a later period in their life, that they may not be capable of making those decisions.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So it's making the decisions now about the care you want to receive when you can no longer make those decisions for yourself, or when you can no longer care for yourself. And those decisions are based on your personal preferences, your values, and the discussions that you have with your family or your loved ones. Okay, so it's not what somebody else is telling you to do, but you're expressing your wishes at the time. So that's why it's so important to start off as early as possible. We know, in working with older persons, a lot of persons want to maintain their independence for as long as they can. And that's great. We want people to be able to age their way. But we also see that you need to be prepared. So you need to have these conversations. You need to consider the what ifs of life, and have things documented. So there are a couple steps that we talk to persons about how to do advanced care planning. And basically the first thing is to consider it. Then the next step is to talk about it. Then to document it, and share it. So basically 4 simple steps.
Okay.
But we let persons know 4 simple steps, but it's not as easy as how we say, right? It does take some time, so that's why we talk about preparedness. Considering it is something that you perhaps or the older person would like to do on their own. Perhaps they want to maybe do a little research as well, looking at what's out there in regards to advanced care planning.
And this isn't a concept that that you have basically developed yourself. It is an internationally accepted concept, as well.
Yes, it is. And the healthcare directive document that I talked about, this is a legal document under the Healthcare Decisions Act. Power of attorney is part of this as well, is part of advanced care planning, and this is a legal document as well. So no, this is done worldwide. We do have some help for persons. On the Department of Children and Family Services Facebook page, we have a short video helping persons to understand as well what advanced care planning is, and then some of the steps that we're talking about today, how to follow that to do advanced care planning. Under the Jasmine or the Cayman Islands Hospice Care, their website, they have documented as well a guide on advanced care planning that persons can access as well. So if you need information, those 2 websites persons can access to get information. It is a difficult subject, and it can be a difficult subject for persons to talk about. So we just let people know that as well, because you're talking about perhaps end-of-life care, or the time when you're not going to function as you normally are, or perhaps a time when you're going to be ill, and perhaps have some disabilities that you're going to require help. You're going to be more dependent. So we let people know that it's not an easy subject, but it does take time and it does take planning. So I talked about the first step. So the first step is to consider it. So there are a couple of questions that we tell people to always consider. So who would be responsible for making healthcare decisions for you? Have you thought about that? Who would be responsible for your banking and finances if you're not able to manage them on your own? Who would be responsible for your pension, any other monthly income that you have? And how are they supposed to use those funds? How are they allowed to use those funds? Who's going to manage your assets for you? For example, your home. Who's going to be responsible for that? Have you considered appointing a power of attorney? And what areas do you want to have that power of attorney cover? Have you considered things like the cost of care? The cost of having somebody come into your home to care for you if you can't care for yourself? Have you considered perhaps where you would be living? Do you want to consider residential care? And then who are the persons that are going to be held accountable for making these decisions for you? So what we refer to those persons are, we call them a proxy.
Okay.
Somebody that's appointed to be a representative for you. So when we do our in-person presentations, I normally have a video that I share with persons talking about how to speak to persons or how to ask persons about being a proxy for you. Because sometimes you have in your mind who you may want to be your proxy. Perhaps it's one of your children or a sibling or a close friend. But when you actually approach that person, perhaps then you realize that person would not be suitable to being your proxy. And for various reasons. It could be that person is perhaps always traveling, so they're not going to be available perhaps when you need them. Perhaps the person has specific religious views that are different from yours. And so you realize a person would not be suitable. Sometimes a person is just uncomfortable with making these specific decisions that you're going to be asking them to do. Or sometimes a person may just decline, So the video that we present asks you to make a list of various persons that you want to consider, so that when you're speaking with those persons, then you have a better understanding of who could be appointed as a proxy to make your decisions for you, because you want persons to be able to respect the decisions that you want as well. So it is part of a process. So perhaps it won't be as easy for some persons, and that's why it takes preparedness.
Okay, with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation with Ms. Cassandra Farron from Department of Children and Family Services, talking about advanced care planning for the elderly. I have a few questions that we're going to answer when we return as well. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What exactly are the steps in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey? Step 1 is a questionnaire where you'll be asked about your health behaviors and lifestyle choices. Step 2 involves home measurements like height, weight, and blood pressure. Lastly, Step 3 is a finger prick blood sample for cholesterol and glucose. STEPS 2023 starts on June 3rd. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me from the Department of Children and Family Services, Ms. Cassandra Farron. And we want to welcome on the phone Ms. Felicia from Jasmine. We're talking, and she's going to talk about the combined form of Advanced Healthcare Directive and Proxy appointment as well. Ms. Felicia, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I'm not there in person. Award ceremony last night.
Not a problem. So let's talk about the advance the combined form?
Yes. So basically, we're really blessed. A few years back, we recognized that in the Cayman Islands, we didn't have a law that allowed people's wishes to be heard from a health standpoint, in the sense that if you had written a will that said, this is what I want if something happened, the minute you became unresponsive, that will no longer stood because you couldn't speak for yourself and the will didn't stand up. And so the Ministry of Health, with some of our, put together a group, and we formed this act. We were able to put together and form the Health Practice Act in regards to a proxy being identified to speak for you. So we're really, really grateful that we now have that law in place, that if for some reason something happened at any stage of the day, whether it be a car accident, whether it be a long-term illness, if you were unable to speak for yourself, this document, if you complete it, will be able to tell your physicians and your loved ones what you would want to have happen. And it also appoints a person to be your proxy healthcare advisor, that they would have known what you would wish and what you want to have done in the state of, I can't, make my own decisions, so that your will and your wishes could be honored.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so it's a really simple process. So this one, we're really blessed. It's legally binding once signed by a doctor. So that excuse we had in the past where it was, I can't afford a lawyer, so I can't do one. I want to do one, but I can't. This one does not require a lawyer to be involved at all to make it legally binding. Basically, what we encourage you to do is have the conversation first with your family about what you would, what you like, what you don't like. So I like to be able to run. I like to be able to jump. I like to be able to see and talk to my kids. These are things that matter to me. So when I am going to put this directive in place as to if something happened to me, these are the values that I would consider good quality of life. So if for some reason I'm unable to speak for myself and I'm on a ventilator, if I'm not able to run and jump and speak and know what's going on, I may not want to be on that ventilator. So these are the things you would think about to decide, to make your decision on these forms as to what you value as quality of life and, how far to go, keep treating with IV antibiotics or keep with the feeding tubes or keep with, everything being done, or maybe not. Maybe if this is the case, if I'm suffering from A, B, and C, then I don't want these things done, because, I don't value that as good quality of life. And in those conversations, then you put that together you take your document to your physician, you identify your proxy, and which I think they might have spoken about already. That there's a whole line of things of how you find your good proxy. But you'd go with that person, and you go before your doctor, and your doctor signs it, and it's witnessed, and that makes it legally binding to ensure that your wishes are heard, and someone's going to do what you would want to have done in the event that you couldn't tell the doctors what you wanted for yourself.
And the repository for this document, where does it go?
You can put it every and anywhere. So we highly encourage, and it says on the document, give it to your proxy, give it to your family, because your family may not be your proxy. You might choose to not make your wife your proxy. I joke about it all the time. My husband's like, I'm not going to make you mine, but I work at hospice, and he's like, if I cough too hard, you're going to be like, just pull the plug, So that's an inside joke, but it really is who you think would honor your wishes and has the capacity to make those hard decisions that you would want make for yourself. But so give them that copy, give it to your family so they know in case it's not them. Give it to your physician. You can also file it in all the hospitals. So you can file it in your medical records at HSA if that's where you go, or Doctor's Hospital, or Health City, wherever it is. The more places it is, the better. And definitely keep one in your home, like visible on your fridge. This is what I want, or in that important drawer that you have your passports and stuff. So everyone knows where to find it if they need to, consult it. And the reason why I highly encourage everyone to do this is because time and time again, working in my profession, I've seen it where no wishes were made known. And the family are like, well, should I do this or should I do that? And they don't know what to do, and they don't have any guidance. And so even when they make a decision, they're still constantly second guessing, did I make the right decision? Is that really what he or she would have wanted? Should I have done more? Should I have done less? And it's caused a lot of turmoil for the people left behind or the people in that situation that are dealing with it. So it's a gift to your family and to your loved ones to really say, I'm going to take that pressure off of you. Here you go. This is what I would like. This is who I want you to speak for me. and it allows them to know that they through this process they did what you wanted. They didn't have to second guess it. Is that what they wanted? They did what. So whether it comes out good or bad, whether you recover or you don't, we did what she wanted or what he wanted. So we know we did our best. You know what I mean? That gift that you can walk away from.
Miss Felicia, do we have an idea how many? Now this is from the healthcare decision law of 2019. So we're basically 4 years into it. Do we have an idea of how many persons have availed themselves to the opportunity of using this?
Unfortunately, because it's private, we really don't have any clue as to what it is. And because it just goes to people's doctors or in their homes, we really don't have a clue how many have done it. But what I can tell you is we don't have enough education about it. Many, many people in the community don't even know it exists because, unfortunately, right after we got it, COVID happened. And so things that would have happened to really launch this law and put things in place didn't. So I'm really grateful to the Department of Children and Family Services for putting this together and working really, really hard to start to educate our Caymanians and the local public about this law and how this can help them to ensure that their wishes are heard, they're not taken advantage of, and they can be informed decision makers in their health care.
Okay. Ms. Felicia, we have to go to our headline news. Sorry. Headline news at 9 o'clock. It's very short. I don't know if you want to stay on the line, just in case you have some other points that you may want to raise as well. And of course, we would want to give you an opportunity, for some closing comments as well. Can you stay on the line?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Folks, top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned. When we return, the conversation with Miss Felicia McLean from Jasmine and also Ms. Cassandra Farron from the Department of Children and Family Services will continue.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
The Department of Environment says a young nurse shark was recently found dead by Don Foster divers at the Royal Palms Ledges dive site. It was between 2 and 3 feet in length and had a large cut in its tail, along with puncture wounds in the gills and stomach. Saturday's rebellion by Wagner mercenaries was a, quote, challenge to its stability, according to Russia's prime minister. Mikhail Mishustin insisted Russia must remain united behind President Vladimir Putin. State TV is showing Moscow's defense minister visiting troops fighting in Ukraine, although it's not clear when the footage was taken. Wagner's mercenary group chief had demanded his removal and described him as evil. He agreed to leave Russia for Belarus after calling off his troops. His current whereabouts are unknown. Russian media have reported the criminal case into the Wagner mercenary group's chief is still open, despite the Kremlin saying charges would be dropped. The mutiny was a direct challenge to Russian President Vladimir Putin and has revealed, quote, cracks in his leadership, according to the United States. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Remember the theme, preparation is key. Preparing for your future. Sometimes some people are reluctant because they believe that they're going to be on this planet forever. Some people have a difficult time facing the fact that at some point in time you're going to meet your demise. And before that, you may have the fortune of going through old age and everything else. So preparation is the key. We're talking with Miss Cassandra Ferrin from the Department of Children and Family Services and Miss Felicia McLean from Jasmine. Miss Ferrin, over to you, and then you're going to prompt Miss Felicia on a few things. I'm going to use her, Miss Felicia, as my co-host this morning in the studio.
Sounds good.
Felicia, thank you so much for joining us. I know you had another event happening at the same time. Do you happen to have the form with you? You could.
I do not. I do.
Okay. All right.
I know it fairly well, but what?
I told her that. I said you probably know it by memory, by heart.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain to persons that it's a long form, but it's fairly simple to follow because it's just 3 different sections of it. The first part is to determine who would be your proxy, and then you're naming your proxy. And then there's actually a place in there as well. It talks about in case of pregnancy, because we like to talk about advanced care planning for older persons because that's a population that I work with at DCFS. But we let people know this is not only for older persons. Felicia, right? This is
correct. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Anyone from the age of 18, you're legally able to complete this document. And so, let's just use our young people who love, motorcycles, let's just say. It wouldn't be a bad idea to put one of these in place. Like I said, visit your doctor. You may not know all the stuff, and your answer may be to everything, I want everything done because I'm 18. And that's okay as well. It's not like, oh, I don't want these things. It's not about the choice you make. It's about making people know what you want. No, there's no right or wrong answer to what you would want. What do you value? And so anyone can do it. And like she said, similar to so pregnancy, while we're blessed to see so many kids every year be born, there's so many potential complications that could happen in pregnancy and in labor and delivery. And so putting something in place that says, this is what I would want in that case. In truth be fact, Cayman is actually behind the times in this one in some parts. If I go to Baptist right now and I'm admitted, they almost always ask any adult being admitted to the general floor, what are your wishes? In the event of something, you're in the hospital, you're sick, so we don't know, anything could happen. What do you want done? It's not a standard question for our inpatients here in the Cayman Islands, in any of our hospitals at present, which I would implore them to look at changing, because you just never know. And it's better to let people know, like I said, what you would want, because it's a gift to them to not have to decide for themselves. But anything could happen to any one of us. Tomorrow is promised to none. And so even if we haven't exactly where, I would love them all to fill out the form. I'd love them even more to just have that conversation with the family. The what if conversation, just so we know what if this happened. I remember them saying that one time that this was important or that was important or they would never want that. You know what I mean? It gives you some guidelines as to how to then make decisions, the hard decisions for your loved one when you don't want to have to make them.
Okay. Yeah. And I was talking about earlier that we really, at Department of Children and Family Services and the work that we're doing with older persons responding to abuse and neglect reports, we believe really if there was an advanced care plan in place that it would have helped us in our work with older persons. Sometimes we meet up on a case and there is no family support or no family on island, no family that's willing to come forward to assist with the care of the older person. So it's a real struggle at times to find somebody to administrate the care of the older person when they are in the state that they need it. And so if something was in place or if there was conversations had before, that would help to alleviate that problem, improve the quality of life of the older person, and lessen the concern and the worry of the family, because they would have been prepared. They would have had that understanding of some of the issues that could come up with their older relative that they could get together to deal with. Sometimes as well, we're talking about the healthcare side of it as well, but sometimes we see that, if there had been a power of attorney or if there had been a plan put in place for person's assets and money as well, that could have prevented some misuse or mismanagement of the older person's funds, because those happen as well. And we've seen a number of those cases. So advanced care planning is very important for your healthcare decisions, but it's also very important to manage your assets
as well.
And older persons, like myself, persons going into retirement, you're saving, you're making plans for yourself, but you have not included the persons, your loved ones, or your family, who perhaps would be there to take care of you when you can no longer do it for yourselves.
Ms. Felicia, we know that you may have other commitments, so anytime you have to leave, just let us know, give us a signal, and we'll let you go. But we're going to throw the mic back over to you now.
Yeah, so I'll make this be my final comment.
Okay.
Kind of running a bit, but yeah, Cassandra's 100% correct in saying, the financial aspect, and it's something, that we don't like to deal with or don't want to spend the money on with getting a will, is huge. You've worked very hard for what you have, and, you plan as best you can for it to be able to take care of you. But if you don't have that proxy in place, if you don't make your wishes known, then the monies could be misused, and you find yourself with nothing to take care of you, being completely dependent on the state and at its will. And that's a long process and a system that's no fun. So, when you can put things in place, it is a gift to everyone to be able to have it. So can't encourage people enough to continue to do this. Another thing that we encourage people to do is, if you do trust someone within your family, and this can get shady as well, I'm sure Cassandra's seen where it might have gone wrong before, but put someone on your bank account, because if you don't have that will in place for your financial stuff and something happens, everything is frozen from that point in time on. And so you can't actually, nothing can happen. They are on the thing. You can pay the bill. You can pay the caregiver. You can buy the food. If, let's say the family doesn't have the money to do it, but you have it in your account, but now you didn't put a will in place, everything is frozen. So it's beneficial to have someone else know your passwords, have someone else know it, someone that you really trust. And this is yet again where you actually get to make the best informed decision of your family, to make that power of attorney. And like I said, it may not have to be your family. Maybe someone else that outside that wouldn't abuse it, that would be able to help the family with that situation. So advanced planning in all aspects as we continue to, age and grow in our community, and there's a lot of uncertainty. One thing you can be sure is, if you put these things in place, you're going to be taking care of your, people know what to do, and you don't, that part of your life isn't so much a what if or what happened. It's something you can feel you planned well for. We plan for a vacation. Let's plan for the what ifs the same way.
Yep. Okay. Ms. Felicia, thank you very much. All the best to you and your family as well.
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Back over to you, Ms. Cassandra. And at some point in time, I'd like you to, you mentioned earlier about presentations that you have made, and you can talk a little bit more about that, those groups that you have already made presentations to, the type of response that you have gotten from them. One of the questions that we had also, the person was curious to know, if they really don't have any financial assets, is this still applicable to them as well? And if you could talk to that also, speak to that also. Certainly.
So we've been at Department of Children and Family Services, we've been talking about advanced care planning for quite some time. We started it out talking about advanced care planning in some of our presentations during Older Persons Month, because we at DCFS, we plan Older Persons Month every October. So that's how we started out, seeing some of the social issues and saying we needed to address it, and doing some presentations, and we developed some pamphlets, some information to do handouts as well. So we started from there. Last year, we started this partnership with Jasmine and Ms. Felicia to do this presentation on the healthcare decisions law and the advanced directives form. So last year, we went to the Seafarers Association, and we presented to their entire membership, and I can say that persons were quite impressed. Again, people don't seem to know a lot about this advanced care planning, but people are happy to take in the information. This year we have a goal to go to every district. And so we started last month in May, and we went to the district of West Bay, and we did a public presentation there. So whenever we come to the districts, it will be open to the entire public, and people can come. We have our team of social workers there. Miss Felicia was there, and she had a palliative care doctor from Jasmine as well. So persons are able to come and ask us questions about their personal situations as well. So I'd encourage persons to listen out for that, for those notices when we're coming to the districts next. The next one I know we'll be coming to is doing the Georgetown district, and we'll partner with Jasmine and host it at the Jasmine location.
Okay.
So listen out for the dates for that. But we always get it on the Radio Cayman bulletin board, and it will be on the DCFS Facebook page as well. So those presentations are coming to the public this year. So people, please join us and look out for that. In regards to the question from the caller, no, you don't have to have assets to do advanced care planning. It's about really deciding who would be your proxy to decide on your care decisions. When you can no longer make those decisions for yourself. And that's so important. It's things like, somebody perhaps had a stroke, and perhaps they still have capacity, but they're no longer able to sign documents. And so you need to appoint a power of attorney for that. And that could be things such as getting benefits from Cynical or getting benefits from the needs assessment unit. So all of those things are very important. And then when the person becomes incapacitated again, through the Healthcare Directives Act and this form, the Advanced Directives form, who are you going to appoint and legally to make those healthcare decisions for you? So it's not only about money, but that is also a part of it because of the abuse of finances that we're seeing. And when we're talking about elder abuse and the DCFS social workers responding to elder abuse, financial abuse is part of it. And I think we covered a little bit earlier about financial abuse. And I just wanted to mention that that's also a type of presentation that we do, prevention of financial fraud against older persons. In fact, tomorrow we're partnering with the credit union, and we're presenting to some credit union members. I believe that session is already full though. And so we're always happy to do partnerships with other community organizations as well, to address the social issues that affect older persons.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We do have a question from one of our listeners, and I will share this with you when we return, give you an opportunity to respond to it as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I want to thank Miss Felicia McLean for her contribution. Although she couldn't be in the studio, she was on the phone with us as well. And, of course, she is extremely knowledgeable and, has so much experience and contributes so much to Cayman Islands, as well. And of course, we have from the Department of Children and Family Services right here in the studio, another great contributor, as well, Miss Cassandra Farron. So, Miss Cassandra, this person has written and said, is there anything in place for the elderly regarding property, land, homes, etc.? And they go on to say the elderly persons are taken advantage of, especially in having documents signed by some persons and not by the elderly person themselves. And they say at times there are cases that have been brought before the courts by family members. So having this advance care document, that certainly could help in some of these instances, because it would also provide documentary evidence as to what that person really wanted, their desires, after their desires.
Yeah, so we do get referrals of cases of financial abuse at Department of Children and Family Services, and we at times have to make referrals to the Financial Crimes Unit of the police and work in conjunction with them in regards to some of these cases. Some of them are quite difficult because there wasn't really any plan put in place by the older person. We believe that advanced care planning can assist with some of these cases because you would have involved your family for them to know what assets you have and who would be responsible for taking care of these assets when you are no longer able to do so. Earlier, Ms. Felicia mentioned about joint bank accounts and multiple signatories for, when you're no longer able to manage your bank account. So one of the things that we recommend is not to have a joint bank account with someone because it is possible that person then they're joint bank account owner of that account and they can do whatever they want with the account as well.
Right, with no questions asked because legally they're on there.
So there are things that we recommend doing, like multiple signatories on the bank account, so that there is some accountability that somebody else is also checking on the bank account, not just one other person having access to the bank account with you, but there are two signatories so that there's sort of checks and balance. So we're recommending the same thing with the advanced care plan, and in fact that's one of the things that we talk about is to share it with other persons so that they know who's responsible, and there can be sort of that checks and balance there. So it's as well perhaps getting some legal advice ahead of time, because part of advanced care planning is to perhaps nominate a power of attorney. So to do a power of attorney, you'd want to get some legal advice as to what you want to have that power of attorney cover. So getting the legal advice, sharing the information with as many persons as you can so that there can be some checks and balance as well. And, in the unfortunate situation, the cases need to be reported to the police. And we try to cooperate with the police as best we can, providing the information to assist them. But if people can take information from now, become educated, because we do realize with older persons, or with some older persons, there is some cognitive decline, and perhaps older persons not familiar with technology, or not as familiar with technology, because some of them are.
Yes.
But some also don't know the value of some of their assets that they have, and they can be taken advantage of in that sense. And then we also know that older persons have the nature that they're perhaps a little bit nicer, a little bit more friendly. And so from that sense, they're taken advantage of. So it's just being mindful of this, having the family around to support you, or having loved ones around to support you.
Okay, this person wanted to know whether you will be repeating the workshop on wills, etc. If you could say whether or not that workshop will be repeated, and
so we're going to do a workshop again on advanced care planning. So a presentation on advanced care planning, which will include Jasmine and Department of Children and Family Services. We don't have a date as yet for the next one, but I know the next one will be for the Georgetown district, and we plan to host it at Jasmine. Which is located just off West Bay Road.
And of course, they will hear it here on the bulletin board on Radio Cayman.
Yes.
And if possible, if you have to come in on one of our shows to
promote it,
as well, you will certainly do that also. Exactly. Okay. Sounds great.
Okay, so if I could just finish up.
Sure.
Talking about
take your time.
The next step. So we talked about considering certain questions, how that you would need to consider in order to develop your advanced care plan. We talked about how to consider your proxy, or it would be the person that you're choosing to represent you, or the person you're giving authority to represent you, and doing this through a power of attorney. And we did talk about, some of the conversations may not be easy to have. Sometimes there may be tears. Sometimes there may be conflict. So you may not be able to accomplish it in one sit down or one meeting, but maybe you need to have a little bit more than one. Next, after that, you're going to document it. So it's not just good enough to tell persons, obviously, because when the time comes, people don't remember, or then people change their mind and go against your wishes, and then perhaps your assets are taken advantage of, and you don't get the care that you wanted. So therefore, we ask people to document it. So it's power of attorney, or your healthcare advanced directives form. That's how you document it. From there, you're going to share it with persons. So Ms. Felicia did say earlier, the advanced healthcare directives form lists the persons that you should share the document with: your proxy, family members, doctors, hospital, perhaps a nursing home if applicable. And then the power of attorney, you as well want to make sure to share it with key family members, loved ones, or friends. Sometimes you have to have your loved ones, friends, perhaps church members, somebody that you've decided to be your proxy. But you also want to make sure that if you have 4 children, all 4 children get a copy so that there is no conflict. because that's one of the reasons that we started talking about this advanced care planning, because we saw so many conflicts within families because there was no advanced care plan.
Yeah.
And
just verbal or supposedly verbal instructions that were given.
Yes.
That can't necessarily be confirmed.
Yes. And sometimes it's historical conflicts because they're perhaps blended families. The older person may have been married more than once. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they feel one side of the family feels that, okay, this side of the family is living with the older person, so they should be providing the care, and then everybody walks away. So it's important that you have the key conversations with the persons who are going to be responsible, and then sharing the information with everybody so everybody's on the same page. It will help to prevent some of that conflict, mm-hmm. and help to prevent some of the worry as well on the side of the family. And then we did talk about, or you and I talked about earlier, the reviewing of the document. So the document does not have to be set in stone. You can change it. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we encourage people to review it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can review it annually if you like. It's because perhaps the proxy is no longer available to you. Perhaps your healthcare conditions have changed, your finances have changed, and you just change your mind about the type of care that you want. So it's always good to review it. And then, of course, if you change it, you're going to make sure to share the document again with the key persons who need to have that document so that they know the particular changes.
So would you, can we talk a little bit about that procedure? Would you amend the current document, or you would redo the form itself and have a brand new document again?
Well, I guess it's best to, to prepare a new one, or you.
Because if you have circulated to other people, you would have to collect that to make the amendments to all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So because I'm not a lawyer, I'm still just
neither am I.
I'm still just a social worker. I would say perhaps that if you're going back to change your power of attorney, mm-hmm. obviously you need to go seek some legal advice, so the lawyer would be able to advise you there. Mm-hmm. With this particular document, the healthcare directive, perhaps you want to do a new document. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. We're going to take another commercial break. We're going to give you as much time as you need, Miss Cassandra, to complete the explanation. And one of our listeners has written and said they were curious to know if they missed the meeting in their district, whether or not they would be able to come to a meeting in another district. And if you could address that, upon our return as well, we'd certainly appreciate that. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky.
The Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency wants your feedback on the draft National Climate Change Policy. The Cayman Islands is experiencing impacts of climate change, like sea level rise, changes to rainfall patterns, and temperature increases. A national climate change policy is essential to ensuring a strong economy, safe communities, and healthy ecosystems. Download the draft policy now at gov.ky/climate change policy. Send us your feedback by Friday, the 30th of June. Log on to gov.ky/climate change policy today to learn more.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me is Miss Cassandra Farron from the Department of Children and Family Services. Earlier, we had on the phone with us Miss Felicia McLean from Jasmine. We're talking about the combined form of Advanced Healthcare Directive and proxy appointment. This is derived from the Cayman Islands Advanced Healthcare Directive Planning for Future Healthcare Decisions, the Healthcare Decisions Law 2019. Don't want to confuse this now with, and this has to do specifically with healthcare decisions, the healthcare requests that you have in place in the event that you become incapacitated to the point where you can't make those decisions yourself. We don't want to confuse that with decisions that are made as far as assets and estates are concerned as well. So this one is in relation to the healthcare directive and proxy appointment. Am I correct with that, Miss Cassandra?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm learning.
Two different documents. We've been talking about the healthcare advanced healthcare directives document, which is covering the healthcare decisions that you want to receive when you can no longer make those decisions for yourself. And that's a document that you would complete with your appointing your proxy and having your doctor sign off on. And then we've been talking about power of attorney, so appointing a proxy or a power of attorney to act on your behalf in regards to your assets and such when you can no longer manage those on your own. And perhaps gave an explanation that perhaps you've had a stroke, you still have capacity, but you aren't able to sign documents and such. So in that state, a power of attorney could act for you, or perhaps you're confined to your bed because of mobility issues, but you are still able to advise and give some information for the power of attorney to act on your behalf. So these are important documents. We've been talking about the preparedness aspect, and I know there was a question asked about the presentations
Yes.
that we're doing.
Yes. If they missed in one district, whether or not they can attend at another location.
Yes, so certainly we've only done one so far in the district of West Bay. So we're planning to go to all districts on Cayman Brac this year. As I know persons from Cayman Brac will be asking. But yeah, if persons want to, if you live in Town and want to come to the one in Georgetown, you would just register persons. So I know recently we've been doing some presentations in conjunction with HMCI in preparedness for disaster preparedness and talking to caregivers who are taking care of older persons, providing some information to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing those presentations in the district as well. And we are going to continue to do the advanced care planning one. So just listen out for when we start to do the promotion of the next one. The next one will be in Georgetown. And we'll get to every district this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's our plan. That's our goal.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
And we do have some handouts as well. I also said that on the Jasmine website, they actually have a guide how to do advanced care planning. It's like a little booklet with lots of questions to consider. Perhaps that might be helpful to persons. And then on the DCFS Facebook page, we have a video as well that persons can look at, just covering again, some of the things that I've been talking about today on advanced care planning and what to consider, because we just want people to start thinking about it from now. This form is accessible on the government website as well. I know it's on the Ministry of Health website as well that persons can access it. So perhaps if you get the form, and look through, start considering who might be or a proxy that you would like to appoint, and then start to have some of those conversations would be a good start for persons. And sorry, as Felicia talked about earlier, you don't have to be an older person to start advanced care planning. Advanced care planning is not only for older persons. It's for anybody age 18 years and older. So, in fact, that's one of the questions that we like to throw out at our presentation. What is an age that you should start advanced care planning? And basically, it's based from age 18 and above, persons.
And the age 18, that's the age where you reach the age of majority, so that you can make decisions on your own. Anyone below the age of 18 would be considered a minor, and their parent or their guardian would be the one making the decisions for them. Is that the argument behind that?
Yes, it is. So, all of us can start talking about advanced care planning. And I especially encourage people who are nearing retirement, who are preparing for their retirement. While you're preparing your retirement funds and your retirement plans, consider advanced care planning, because it's so important. And if you have an older relative and you know that there is no advanced care plan in place, then perhaps start talking to them as well about what their wishes are.
Extremely, extremely important. And like you said, Miss Felicia spoke, and she gave an example of motorcycle riders. I guess those persons, you could walk out the door and slip on a banana peel, and something catastrophic could occur where you no longer have certain faculties that are functioning. So in the example that she used with motorcycle riders, we know that it can be extremely dangerous, and it can certainly be traumatic when you have a motorcycle accident as well, because you're not as protected as you are, let's say, in a vehicle. If you are a person who participates in some extreme sports, as well. It's something that you may want to consider also. Huh?
Yes. So, all of us should consider advanced care planning. All of us should consider this healthcare directives document. If anybody has, had to have a surgery or perhaps has had long hospital stay, they perhaps would be a little bit more understanding of some of the things that you have to consider in terms of healthcare treatments and care. So, and Felicia did say that, we're a little bit behind here, and in other hospitals around the world, these are things that they ask you for as you're going into hospital. So, I would just encourage people to perhaps, if you get the document, and just review it as well. But I also would like to share that I think I mentioned it earlier, that one of the reasons that DCFS and the social work team started to talk about this document is because we started to see some situations of abuse and neglect on the older person because there was no advanced care plan in place. And sometimes we see where the older person, their lifestyle has changed, perhaps because of onset of dementia. So there are differing behaviors that they have, perhaps poor judgment. They forget things. They ask the same questions over and over. They may start to wonder. And sometimes the family does not understand what's happening. And so we start to see some incidents of verbal abuse against the older person. And, so these are some of the things that we say if there had been conversations ahead of time to help prepare the family members, because some of these behaviors and these changes in lifestyle can happen quite suddenly, and the family doesn't understand what's going on. But if there had been conversations prior to, it would have helped to the family to understand what the future might hold a little bit in regards to the changing lifestyles and behaviors of older persons when they have certain medical conditions, so that the family can better prepare. When we start to see these things now, then we have to pay a little bit more attention. Now is when we have to get involved in managing more of their older relatives' assets and, managing their funds, or perhaps setting up care for them. So those are things that we were always mindful of, trying to help prevent elder abuse and neglect. And we always say to families as well to make sure to always check in with their older relative. I mean, some do, but just to be able to see the changes in what's happening. And then you and I were talking earlier as well about that there are family members who potentially prey on older persons when they see some decline, some cognitive decline. They go in and all of a sudden, they're there to provide care to the older relative, but it's really because they want to access funds or
some nefarious reason why they're there. Yeah. Ms. Cassandra, we're going to take our last commercial break. I know we're keeping you here longer than you had planned, but you're imparting so much valuable information, and we know that there are people out there who are listening. There are people who have concerns, as well, and we want to give them as much food for thought as possible. So we're going to take our last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Health behaviours and lifestyle choices such as diet and smoking can be risk factors for non-communicable diseases. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey will allow the Ministry of Health and Wellness to gather important data on the health of the nation, including these risk factors. This information will inform our plans for the health needs of Cayman's residents, allowing us to better serve our population. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. This summer, I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, and now Panama. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal this summer.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
This is an important public service announcement. In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, this year's annual declarations to the Register of Interests must be submitted between the 1st of July and the 30th of July by persons in public life.
This includes members of Parliament, various categories of public officials, members of governing bodies of statutory authorities, government companies, and commissions created under the Constitution. The Register of Interest portal for the electronic filing of declarations will be accepting submissions from the 1st of July.
For more information or to determine if you are required under the Standards in Public Life Act to file a declaration, visit www.standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky/Register of Interests.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning, and before I throw the mic back over to Miss Cassandra Farron from the Department of Children and Family Services, and again, thank you to Miss Felicia McLean from Jasmine as well for her contribution this morning. Of course, we're talking about the combined form of advanced healthcare directive and proxy appointment under the Healthcare Decision Law 2019 in the Cayman Islands. And before I do that, we have a birthday shout out here going out to Miss Francia Lloyd McLaughlin. She's celebrating her birthday tomorrow, and advance birthday greetings are coming from your loving husband, Errol, on your very special day tomorrow. So that is Miss Francia Lloyd McLaughlin celebrating her birthday tomorrow. Advanced birthday greetings coming from your husband, your loving husband, Errol, as well. So, Miss Cassandra, you have about 8-9 minutes left to go in the show. Maybe you may want to recap some of what we have said, what you've spoken about before. And I just wanted to mention something we see more and more people deciding that if something catastrophic happens to me the whole instructions, do not revive. Is that covered in this, in this document as well?
Yes, it is covered in this document. So there are 3 different sections to the document. The first part is to appoint your proxy. So that first part covers all of that, and then what you want the powers that you want your proxy to take on. This part 2 is your treatment preferences. So it's treatment for different conditions or different stages. So in the case of a terminal condition, what you want for treatment there.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of you being in a persistent vegetative state, what type of treatment you want there. In case of end stage condition, what type of treatment you want there. So DNR is considered in this part, part 2. And then part 3 is just a section for your signatures and your witnesses. And it tells you there what the checklist is for the document, and as well who you should provide as a copy or provide copies to of the particular document, which would be your proxy, family members, doctor, hospital, nursing home, if applicable.
Okay. We do have a caller before you go as well, so let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning to your guest, Ms.
Cassandra. Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just have one question, please. I would like to know where I could obtain the form that I could go through it, sit and suck it in a form. How could I obtain a form?
Okay, the form is available on the Ministry of Health website.
Oh, okay, that's the only way you could get it, Ministry of Health.
No, but perhaps if you want to provide your email address, I could provide a copy of it to you if you want to.
If you don't want to give that publicly, if you give it to Paul before you hang up, and then he can pass it on to Miss Cassandra, and then she can forward it to you. This way you don't have to publicly give out your email address if you don't want.
I appreciate that. Once I have gave my number to one of your, workers there to contact someone, I never did get a call. So, but anyway, yes.
No, once you leave it, I will get it and provide it to you.
Yes, yes, I can get. Then I can, read it, take my time and read it, and then I can, go forward from there.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks so much. Very good, informative show today. I guess it opened up a lot of hearts and eyes, because I was a bit hold back on certain things, and after you reach certain age, not even age like said, to start from 18, because no one knows the depth of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very good open eye, and I'll sure be after I read it, I would, sort of love to visit one of your next meetings, or because I live in, Lower Valley here, so I guess, one more. Is the credit union, what is you're connected to them regarding this proxy, or it's something different?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand the question.
She wanted to know whether or not. I think, caller, this one has to do with healthcare only. There are some workshops about wills as well. Is that something that you want to speak to that? If there's any.
No. So wills are separate.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that as part of this radio presentation today, we did hope to have a lawyer on because the DCFS is responsible for putting together these monthly radio programs for older persons, and we did hope to have a lawyer on talking about preparing wills. So perhaps that will be covered in one of the upcoming radio shows. But we don't do any presentations on wills. We do advanced care planning, which covers power of attorney. Talking about your healthcare decisions and decisions involving your assets and and your finances and your care when you no longer can do those for yourself. And I think I did mention earlier that we are doing a presentation on prevention of financial abuse of older persons along with the credit union. So I thought that was maybe what you were mentioning, but that's I believe that session is closed, and I said we love to partner to address social issues, affecting older persons in the country, because we've seen a number of reports of abuse or neglect. So that's what we're trying to prevent here.
Yes, it's facts. Yeah, but it's good that, at some point it can be, it can be addressed. And, we have to start at some point. It's good. So thank you. I'll give
Yes. Give Paul your email address and he'll pass it on to Ms. Cassandra. Thank you very much, caller.
Have a blessed day.
Okay. Ms. Cassandra, keep on talking. And whenever you're ready for your closing comments, go right ahead.
Actually, I think I will do closing now, because we've talked about quite a bit of this advanced care planning. So just letting persons know to start considering, what you need to consider, the decisions about your care when you can no longer make those decisions for yourself. Then start to talk about it with family, with loved ones, with persons you want to appoint as your proxy, to document it, then to share it, and that you're able to review it at any time that you feel you need to review it. I would like to thank the team that I work with at DCFS, the Elderly Services team. We have 4 social workers there, and they are responsible for taking the reports of abuse and neglect on a daily basis. We take reports to persons coming into our office. You can report through phone call 949-0290, or we have an email address that persons can send in reports of that require investigation. So it's DCFS Elderly Services at gov.ky. So it's DCFS Elderly Services at gov.ky. And then sometimes we do welfare checks as well. If persons require that, perhaps an older person is living alone, and they may require care and they just want somebody to do a check on them. So we can do welfare checks as well.
Okay, Ms. Cassandra, someone else has shared their email address, and they would like the form to be forwarded to them as well. So I think one of the things, and we know here on Radio Cayman that many people listen, especially when we don't get a whole lot of calls, means that people are listening, that they're listening and absorbing the information as well. So we may want to look at how easily accessible this form can be made, to people as well, because it seems as if there's some interest out there. So I want to thank you this morning as well, folks. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There's always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. And I'm going to interrupt for a second, because one of our listeners also sent a WhatsApp message and said, very good show this morning, and that consideration should be given to having the forums at the government administration building and at the various church offices, as well as the MLA's offices as well. So that's a good suggestion from one of our listeners also. So, folks, I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dweeny Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to